Hi, I'm Cindy with Earth Science Resources, and today we're speaking with Dr. Laura B. Carter. She is a science communicator.
Hi, I'm Laura Carter, and I'm a science communicator. I have a background in earth science, did a PhD at Rice University in 2018, um, where I focused on geochemistry and experimental petrology, studying carbon dioxide emissions from volcanoes. And since then, I've worked for a NASA-funded intercollegiate project as a science communicator at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and now I work for the National Renewable Energy Laboratory in Colorado. A science communicator is kind of a general term for people who help convey what researchers are doing and scientists are working on to a variety of audiences. So that can be anything from writing journal articles for the news or producing videos like YouTube videos, or even designing signs that might go around and convey information. And the audiences can be anything from stakeholders to policymakers to the general public. So what I do currently is I help convey the research that is ongoing in renewable energies, specifically wind power and wind energy and water power. And I help convey what scientists are working on, what new technologies are being developed, and how they're being integrated into the world to various people who might be interested in learning about that. A lot of scientists end up speaking in sort of a bubble to themselves. They publish very technical papers, and those don't always get out to the general public, but what they're doing is important for everyone to know. So a science communicator's job is sort of to translate the science into information that can be conveyed to whoever needs to know it. So, and that can be in my current role, I do some writing, I can write social media posts that go out on, for example, Twitter, or I also do some editing to make sure that all of the language being shared is understandable to people who maybe don't have a PhD in the specific field being discussed. And I also help publish things to NREL's website so that people can search information that's going on and learn about research on their own time. And I think that that's kind of I sort of do a little bit of a catch-all, but science communicators can kind of focus down on whatever they're interested in. If you are interested in writing, you can become a science journalist and you can focus on a specific area such as medical science. So I kind of help convey what is going on in renewable energy right now, and just making sure that everyone understands and hears about some of the exciting work that's changing their world at all the time. So I actually knew I wanted to be a geologist. Oh gosh, I wouldn't go too far back, but at least high school. I took a geology or an earth science class in high school. I was fortunate to take an earth science class in high school because they actually got rid of it after I graduated, and my high school no longer teaches that. So I was very fortunate to be shown that that field existed. And what hooked me was actually a movie day where the teacher brought in a National Geographic video of some volcanologists working in Hawaii. And I saw the man in the silver protective suit, and I said, that's a job, and decided on the spot that I wanted to do that. So I became sort of a well-known volcano girl at high school, and did an undergraduate degree in geological sciences, did as much as I could there to try to build up my understanding of volcanoes, and then moved to a master's degree in the UK where I studied natural hazards. And for that degree, I was lucky to go on a several-week field trip to Guatemala where I got to hike all of the volcanoes and meet with the government's volcanology team, because they have enough volcanoes there that it needs active monitoring. And then started my PhD at Rice University in Houston, Texas. and got a little bit more focused on learning about lava and volcanic emissions. And during my time there, decided that I didn't actually like doing the research. I was very interested in the science and learning about it, but I didn't enjoy spending all of my time in the lab, and not knowing what I really wanted to focus on. There were so many different directions you can go in research. So I started getting a little bit more into outreach at the time. There were a lot of efforts at my school to encourage students to talk to children who might be interested in geology. And I was very passionate about that because although I knew about geology in high school, most people don't hear about geology. They don't know that it's a career option or a field that you can study. So I was very passionate about sharing that. And that kind of built up from there. I found that I really enjoyed designing classes or drawing informational cartoons that I could pass out to the kids. And so that sort of built up, and I started getting involved in a new magazine that my department was putting out. And in so doing, I started talking to people who were doing science communications. And again, like I had in high school, I was like, wait, this is a job? Because I've always been kind of interested in writing and reading and language. And I found a lot of joy in helping friends fine-tune presentations and making sure things are understood. So I was like, wow, this is perfect. I can combine the two. I'm able to keep my interest in the earth and geology and science in general, and still, help use my skills and interest in conveying information. So it's sort of built from there, and I've fine-tuned as I went. I didn't have a background in communications or journalism, as some science communicators do. I came from the science side, but I've learned and I've incorporated, and I still get to learn geology every day as part of my job. To not get too stuck in the mud on the direction that you think you want to go. As I said, I wanted to be a geologist from the get-go, and specifically volcanoes. I wanted to be that person in the tinfoil suit, poking the lava with a stick and seeing, what composition was. And I realized throughout my educational career and my working career that wasn't really what I wanted to do, but I got so fixated on it that I really think I missed a lot of opportunities along the way. And it wasn't until I was almost done with my PhD that I realized I was interested in science communication. And as I said before, you don't need a PhD to do science communication. It's not necessary. So I think my younger self might have benefited from using that time to learn more about communications, which is what I'm doing now. But I could have done a little bit more back then. I didn't start working on magazines or working on my speaking skills or writing skills until very late in my PhD. And that was a really long career. So I would say, keep your mind open is what I would tell myself. Keep your horizons open and learn from the people around you. Talk to everyone. I didn't know any science communicators for a long time. I think if I'd reached out to people more, chatted with people at museums who were doing the science communication, just learning more about the options and not getting so fixated on what I thought was the career that I wanted.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to see you and speak with you, catch up, and I'm so glad you're doing so well.
Thank you so much for having me on your YouTube channel. I think what you're doing is fantastic. It in itself is science communication, so keep at it. And I was really honored to be here and chat with you.